Hey guys, my name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be filming the mid-year book freakout tag. I honestly can't believe 2019 is already like halfway over. It's just like mind-boggling. And so far I've read 60 books this year, which is like a lot higher, I think, than videos in the past. Like I'm pretty sure I've always been around the 50 book mark at the midway point of the year. Let's just jump right into the questions because I'm really excited about this. Alright, so question number 1 is the best book you've read so far in 2019. And this question is always really hard. It's really impossible for me to pick one favorite, so I'm gonna show you 4. One that comes to mind right away is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is definitely one of my favorites, and this is something that was way out of my comfort zone to read. One of my other favorites is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is my new favorite from Christina Lauren, and it's my favorite romantic comedy book that I've read this year. Another favorite is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, because this just gave me all of the feels. And then another favorite is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. So I guess it just kind of depends on the genre. Like, this is my favorite thriller I've read so far this year. This is my favorite historical fiction feel book this year. And then these are my favorite like romance comedies from the year so far. I just love them both. The second question says best sequel you've read so far in 2019. And I've read exactly 0 sequels in 2019. I'm just not a series reader. I'm really not. I mainly read standalone. You Need to Calm Down by Taylor Swift is the best sequel of 2019. Number 3 says new release you haven't read yet, but you really want to. I have so many new releases that I really want to read that I haven't gotten around to yet, but one that comes to mind right away is Middle Game by Seanan McGuire, which is a book that's probably like kind of out of my comfort zone because it's like a little fantasy, but it just sounds so freaking interesting and it's getting such great reviews from everyone, so I'm definitely interested in checking that one out soon, maybe, hopefully. Number 4 says your most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I'm gonna make a video very soon about all of my most anticipated books for the rest of 2019 because there is quite a few that I'm excited for. The 2 that are at the top of my list right now, the first one is Not the Girl You Marry, because this one is being compared to How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, but it's just a gender reversal on it, and like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days was one of my favorite freaking movies, so just really excited to read this book. And then the second one is Twice in a Blue Moon by Christina Lauren, because they're Christina Lauren and I'm just so excited. Like, I'll read anything they write. Number 5 is biggest disappointment of the year so far, and I'm gonna have to go with 99% Mine by Sally Thorne, because I was hella anticipating this book because The Hating Game is one of my favorite romances of all time, and this one was in my 5-star predictions video, and I ended up giving this 2 stars. Like, it was not my jam, and I was very disappointed by it. This was just hot garbage. It was hot garbage. Right, number 6 is the biggest surprise, which to me just means the books that I went into not really having any expectations for or having kind of lower expectations for, and then they ended up just like blowing my mind. First one is going to be All We Ever Wanted by Emily Giffin, because this book, I just got the audiobook from my library, wasn't really expecting anything, and I ended up loving the shit out of this and giving it 5 stars, and like it just affected me emotionally so much more than I thought it was going to, and like, wow, it was just so good. Another book that really surprised me is A House at the Bottom of a Lake by Josh Mallerman. This is a buddy read I did with my BFF Jacqueline. I don't know, I don't think I had any real expectations going into this book. I was just curious to read it, and my god, this book, I mean, this book for sure is not for everyone because it's a very specific, unique, kind of weird that this book is, but like, oh my god, it was just so good, and it was a 5-star read, and I was just freaking shook after I read this. Number 7 says favorite new author, either a debut author or an author that's new to you. So for my new favorite debut author, I have to say Casey McQuiston is my new favorite debut author. And then an author that I read for the first time this year that I can't wait to read more of is Katrina Leno, who wrote Summer of Salt. She mainly writes these young adult novels that have so much more to them than just like your standard young adult novel. And I really enjoyed this book, and I really do want to read more of Katrina Leno's books soon. Right, number 8 is your newest fictional crush, and I'm gonna have to go with Ethan from The Unhoneymooners, because he's so soft and so perfect, and he's like my ideal male love interest in a book, and probably because he just reminds me a lot of Josh from The Hating Game, but like even more soft. So Yeah, he's definitely my biggest fictional crush of 2019 so far. Number 9 is newest favorite character. And this question is also incredibly hard, so I picked 5 of my favorite characters that I've read so far in 2019 because I couldn't possibly just pick one, okay? So my first favorite character of the year was Isabel from The Nightingale because I just fucking loved her. She's a queen. My next favorite character is Alex from Red, White, and Royal Blue. He's fucking amazing. And he's Mexican, and he's bisexual, and he's from Texas, and he's the first son of the female president of the United States. My next favorite character is Olive from The Unhoneymooners, and she's like the main character of this book, and she's just so funny and amazing, and I just relate to her a lot. My next favorite character is Daisy Jones from Daisy Jones and the Six, because Daisy Jones is just so like fierce and independent, and she's exactly who she says she is, and she's like not fake, and I just like love her character so much. Like she's just like such bad bitch vibes. And then lastly, I have Jo from Miss Everything because she is probably one of my most relatable characters that I've read about recently. Like she wants to be a writer, and she's just unapologetically who she is all the time, and she really like wants to fight for equality and for women's rights, but she doesn't really know the best way to go about doing that, but she just has very strong opinions about things, and I don't know, she just reminds me a lot of myself, so loved her character in this. All right, number 10 is the book that made you cry the most this year. It's honestly probably a tie between The Nightingale, because this book was mainly like a couple scenes towards the end that made me like bawl my eyes out. Like, oh my god, it was so freaking sad. Obviously it's sad, it's a World War II book, but like for reals. And then also Birthday by Meredith Russo. This book made me cry like a little bitch, especially towards the end. Like, oh my god, but there were many times in this book where I was like crying. Like it was just so beautiful, like so beautiful. All right, number 11 is a book that made you happy. I think one of the books that made me the most happy this year is The Bride Test by Helen Huang. This is just such an adorable, light, fluffy romance, and both of these main characters made me so flippin' happy. Other books that made me really freaking happy are The Unhoneymooners and Red, White, and Royal Blue. Pretty much any of my favorite like romantic comedy kind of books make me really happy. That's why I read them, you know? Number 12 is favorite book to movie adaptation that you've seen / watched this year. And my personal favorite is 5 Feet Apart, which is actually the only book to movie adaptation that I've watched and seen this year and read this year. But this one would probably be my favorite regardless because I actually really enjoyed the book. I mean, the book was like a 4 out of 5 for me, but then I really loved the movie. Like I actually liked the movie even better than the book. I love the movie so much because these two actors have so much chemistry and it's just so soft. Oh my god, it's the cutest. And the movie has a really great soundtrack, by the way. It's so cute. All right, number 13 is favorite review that you've written, either for booktube or like a written review. The only book talk that I've done this year has been for Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, which I technically didn't read for the first time this year. I reread this book for the 3rd time this year, making it my most reread book of all time. I'm actually really proud of that book talk though, even though I didn't actually read this book for the first time this year, but I really do love the review that I made for this book because I really just explained why I love this book and why it means so much to me. So I'll link that in the description, but that's pretty crazy that this is like the only book talk I've actually done this year, which is weird. Like in the past, I've always done so many more book talks, so maybe I need to like get my shit together and get back on that. Number 14 is the most beautiful book that you've bought so far this year or received. And I think this means cover-wise, like your favorite covers so far this year. My favorite that I've bought personally, like myself, is The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. This cover is just so freaking beautiful to me. Like I love the black cover with like the tree that looks kind of painted on here and then like the little gold specks of what look like stars on it. Like I just love it. Some of my other favorites have been The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. This one might be my favorite cover of 2019. Like, I don't know, I'm just a huge fan of Starry Night Sky covers, and this rainbow is like killing it for me. Like, I love it. I also really love Golden State by Ben H. Winters. I don't know why, like, this looks so beautiful. Like, I love it. And then a very recent, like, I just got this in the mail yesterday, but it's also one of my favorites, is We Came Here to Forget by Andrea Dunlop, because look at this fucking cover. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Like, and this also has the like sky thing that I'm just like, apparently I just really love books that have like a sky and like a city colors, this like blue and pink. Oh my god, I love it. Right, and the last question, number 15, says, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I have so many books that I need to read by the end of the year, obviously. I've actually been really interested in some recent young adult releases that I would really like to read at some point. Some of those being With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, because I really liked The Poet X, so I really want to read this book. And then I also want to read Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins, Girls with Sharp Sticks by Susan Young, and I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. I don't know why, like lately I've actually kind of been on like a young adult kick. Like I want to read young adult, like I got the urge, and like I haven't gotten that urge in like years. So that's exciting. Maybe I'll be reading those soon-ish. That was the mid-year book freakout tag. Let me know what your thoughts are on any of these books, if you've read any of these books that I mentioned, and if you agree. And that's a wrap, so thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys soon with a new video.